If you enjoy listening to inspirational stories from people just like us, facing the fear and doing it anyway, then you're in the right place. My name is Claire Hill, and this is the No Rest for the Vivid podcast. Hello, welcome to this episode with Lucie Selby, my amazing friend that I've met on Instagram, who has helped me build all of my branding. Well, I say help me build. She basically came up with all of it because that's what she is a specialist in. And if you have followed me for a while, I used to have a logo that I had made myself. I actually tell the story of the logo in the episode, but Lucie is just such an absolute joy, and she's so passionate about what she does. So if you are looking into having a rebrand and thinking about a new logo, please get in touch with Lucie. Through this episode, we talk about having a business, having children with a business, and why she does what she does, and the feelings of joy that she has from doing it. So enjoy, sit back, get a pen and paper, because you might want to make some notes. Enjoy. Hello, Lucie.
Hello, my lovely.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really, do you know, I haven't recorded a podcast for so long. I felt a bit nervous, but I was like, it's good, it's you.
I'm happy to be your newest podcast-y. Is that a thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, let's do that.
Podcast guest, I suppose. That's actually.
But English words.
But yeah, I'm glad you've got a nice cuppa for you. This is the first, for people that are watching us, this is the first podcast on video on YouTube. And if you're listening, you can go and watch us.
Which I'm sure it's going to be riveting.
Of course it is. I've just realised you can see my boxes here, but this is right. What people like to see, isn't it? So introduce yourself to everybody. What's your name? Where do you come from?
I feel like I'm on blind date.
Exactly.
Yes, my name is Lucie Selby. I'm a graphic and web designer, kind of trying to position myself as a brand identity specialist.
Love it.
I know, getting a bit niche. I love working with small businesses, whether it's a rebrand or a new business, new branding from completely scratch. That's the stuff I really love doing. But like, I try to kind of position myself as like a remote creative team for people. Works great for small businesses where, you know, we've all done it. We've worked in an office or, you know, an environment where you're in a team of people, and then you suddenly go to working on your own and you go, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I've no idea how to achieve that thing that I'm trying to achieve. So that's where I try and help small businesses, basically.
Brilliant. Amazing. How did you get into it all?
So my degree was actually in interior design.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I did a 1-year art foundation at Loughborough, and then I did 3 years in Manchester doing interior design, and then I worked in London for nearly 8 years in an architect's firm as an interior designer. Stopped to have babies, didn't want to do the whole commuting into London and stuff like that, and then thought, right, I need to do something for myself from home, and kind of traversed into graphic and web design. And that's how it started, really, which it's been fun. So 8 years having my own business now, I'd say.
Oh wow. And do you remember like the thoughts you were having about, because it does, I mean, I know it's all about design and creativity and everything, but to go from interior design to the work that you've done for me, I suppose for me, obviously as an outside of the industry, it seems like so different. Do you remember the the thoughts you were having before you made the decision to run your own business?
I think I stopped working, like handed in my resignation, having babies, then had first baby. I've got 3, had first baby, and I just remember sitting there like 5-6 months in, and like the loveliness, but also the monotony of my job as, you know, feeding, changing, napping, housing. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm so bored. Like I'm bored. I've always been like an ambitious kind of person, and I love my children, love the idea of having a family and babies, but I needed something else for my brain to be focused on, as well as babies. So I then like got into like creating like Etsy prints, you know, like new baby prints, wedding prints, stuff like that. And that was kind of how I started. And I created like this little like cottage industry kind of from home thing. And then I was like, oh, could probably, well, I'd like my own website. So I learned how to build websites. And then I was like, right, I need like logo and branding. So I just started doing that. And then it literally just went from there, and sort of grew, stopped to have a baby, grew the business, stopped to have another baby. And then like, so that was, you know, I've been pregnant and growing babies and having babies for like 10 years. And yeah, so now I'm in a place of, I know my niche, I know my client base that I want to help, I know what I'm good at. And yeah, it's I think with lots of people, you grow, don't you? You might start at one point and you end up somewhere completely different. And I guarantee you know, that whole thing of, oh, you know, imagine speaking to yourself 10 years ago and saying this is where you'd be. Like I would never have put any money in the world on that I would have my own business, be working full time, have built something that I can like genuinely like provide for my family with from nothing. Like I just wouldn't have believed anyone if they told me. But you can do it.
And why don't you think you would have believed yourself 10 years ago?
I think because I came from a background of, you go to work for someone and you get a salary, and that is the option that you have. You know, like I just didn't I found the idea of being self-employed and, you know, working for yourself, finding leads, and building that kind of business like quite scary and like a real unknown. So yeah, I remember, I like have such vivid memories of like when I first started it was called Be Loved Gifts. I remember doing it, and like my husband being like, are you really going to put in a tax return for that? And I was like, yes, because that's where I'm starting, and it's, you know, and now where I'm at, I'm like, you know, feeling all proud of myself, and like it's a genuine business. I used to think it was like me pretending to be working. And
I know,
you feel like you're like, oh yeah, I'm just going upstairs to work. And
you feel like it's like play, isn't it? Do you find it's funny what you said that about your husband, because Dan, my husband, was talking to somebody the other day and saying about how when I first started, I was so addicted to making wire art that I wanted it all over the house. And he used to go, oh, babe, I don't really want it in every room. Or just, you know, it might be overkill. And he told me about a year after I started, the reason is because he didn't think it was any good. And then I was like, oh, but this is the beauty of wire art, is I just practice and practice and practice and practice. And now we have it in every room near enough. And he's like, yeah, no, now you're really, really good. Like, you're amazing. But he went to like art college, I think. And between us, he's the artist.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, mate, I mean, he does a great job. He helps homeless people, but I'm actually paid to be an artist. So I don't know who's an artist now, sort of
I
thing.
love it.
You just get into that competition because you're best mates. You're like, mate, you know. But when you're saying about pretending, it does feel like that. It's like you're making shop, isn't it? Especially if you've got
Yeah.
a baby. It's like, oh, you know, I'm just going to pretend to go to work now.
Mm.
But then you can
Yeah.
actually, then you get money.
Well, that like literally, I remember the first time I sold a print, like I used to frame them as well, like a framed print, and I was literally sitting there like,
Yeah.
I feel more proud of myself, like having sold that and maybe making £20 than I felt with any paycheck that just landed in my account. Like, just bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah.
And like that now, at that point of like knowing that you're earning money off your own steam is brilliant. Like, I love it. I'm so motivated by what I've created for myself.
Yeah, I love that is when we sort of like, say if we want something, if we want to go on a holiday. I did this recently. I was like, right, I want to take my in-laws away, and I wanted to go and sit in a hot tub. I was like, okay, how am I going to make that money? And I can make the money. Like, if I want something, I'll just make the money to do it.
It's a different kind of mindset, isn't it?
Absolutely,
to like just
yeah.
money going in your account every month.
Yeah. I mean, the downside, but I mean, we compensate that with a bit of warrior energy. But the downside is if you're not feeling good, you can't earn. You know, you've got to show up. But I think there's so many positives. I just love it. So you did your business, you made your first £20, and do you feel like after every baby you did a bit of a pivot into the direction you're in now?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I kind of you know, I sort of built it up, and then you sort of had to plateau for a little bit while you were then concentrating on baby and, you know, sleep deprivation, and all of that stuff. And I kind of I grew as a person and confidence, and actually had time to kind of consolidate my skills and decide if I needed to learn more or what direction I wanted to take and stuff like that. And you sort of build more confidence in yourself as well, and kind of go, no, as I said, like, I'm an ambitious person. I'm not the kind of person to just pootle along. So I was always striving to like grow and get better and do bigger things and stuff like that. So like when Isla, my youngest, she's 4.5, when she'd got to a point where she was going to preschool and I knew I had days to myself, I was like, wow, this feels like a hugely transformational part of my life, because it's the first point where I'm not, you know, gearing up to be pregnant and all of that stuff again. And I was like, whoa. And that actually kind of interlinked with all the COVID stuff that happened, and everybody then suddenly going, right, this is the time. If I've ever got time to look at creating a new business or starting something or a side hustle or whatever, it's now. And then like I had an amazing year and a half with the COVID stuff. Like, it was horrendous in so many ways, and the kids being off and trying to homeschool and work and difficulties with, you know, other incomes and whatever with my husband, that we then kind of went, right, this is me. And it just went for me.
Amazing.
Like, intense, like close to breakdown level of intensity. But, you know, you do, don't you? You pull up your big girl pants and you just crack on with it. And it's been amazing for my business. I'm just a bit tired.
Yeah. And I think that's when I started following you, or were you following me? I can't remember. But you had the COVID print. You. I don't know. Do you know what? It might have been that you messaged me and said, can I gift this to you or something, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
I need to look at our messages, but that was like 2 years ago, over 2 years ago then.
Yeah.
And then from there, I decided not too long ago, well, we chatted a lot because we're the same age, so we'd have been friends at school. and though I feel like you're so much more of a grown-up though, technically I am actually older than you, aren't I? But you've got 3 children, you say, so you're a proper grown-up, whereas like I've still got 1. But anyway, it's that kind that then I was like, right, I need to sort out Vivid Wire because the logo just doesn't represent me anymore.
Yeah.
And I told you this whole story about the logo because for those of you who don't know, the logo was made in wire, and I printed out a font. The Vivid bit was made in wire and they printed out the word wire, and then I found the lightest place in my house, which was on the fireplace in the front room, on February the 18th 2019.
Very specific.
February the 18th. Yeah, I remember it so vividly. But because I was in that mode, right, if I don't do this, I'm not going to do it. So I just did it on that day, and that's when the birthday is, even though I'd been making for a bit before that. And then so I took the photo, put it in the Vivid filter on my iPhone, and there was my logo. But I didn't understand about vectors then. I didn't know about scaly photograph, pixels, didn't understand anything. And then realised all over my branding stuff, it was just horrendous. Like, it was an awful logo to use in that respect. Still obviously very personal to me. So I said to you, look, I've got, this is where I'm going. These are my favourite colours. What can you do? And you came back with something. We had a tweak, didn't we? Because of the font on all the logos looks like, it's supposed to look like wire, which it does. And I said someone the other day about the Vivid Wire podcast logo, which you will all be able to see because it's now on the new artwork for the podcast, that somebody went, I love how it looks like wire. And I hadn't told that person that that's what it was supposed to be. And I was like, yes, score. And actually, out of the 3 logos, because you've done all 3 now for the Vivid Club, Vivid Wire, and the podcast one is actually my favorite because I feel like it likes dripping paint down in a bit of a, do you know what I mean, with the P and the long letters? But yeah, I came to you and you looked after me so well, because the first one I was a bit of a pain in the arse, I think, because it was just such a big deal, wasn't it? It was such a big deal for people to change their logos.
It is. And like, I would say that process is very, very typical for most small businesses. When, like, you know, I did my own logos. When I look back at my first one, it was utterly pants. And that's what most people do. You're starting a small business, you don't have tons of money, so you kind of go, right, I'm going to jump on Canva, I'm going to jump on Fiverr or something and create a really quick logo. And then people don't really understand what's the difference between a PNG, a JPEG, an EPS, a vector-based something. It's all like a different language. And if you're not dealing with a human being and you're just doing something online, you create it and go, oh, that'll do. And then you come and think, right, I'm going to a trade show. It'd be really great to be able to print a big banner. And they go, oh, can I have your logo? And they go, well, this is utterly shite. Can't use that.
Can't use it on a banner.
Can't use it on a banner.
No way.
You might be able to use it on a sticker. You know, but
like 500 by 500 pixels, which is like literally that big.
But try and print it the size of your face, and it will be pixelated and awful. But you know, that's really normal. Small businesses, you have to cut your cloth at the time, and then you make a decision. And like, branding is something that you should be revisiting on a sort of periodic basis, because you know, your direction might change, your position in the market might change. Actually, you've got to a point you go, well, actually, I'm doing quite well. I would like to make an investment into my business. And I think you should look at it as an investment and not a cost or an expense.
Oh, it's so much. So, yeah. And it really does, like I said to you, and you sent through the Vivid Club. The Vivid Club came through in the podcast because they're very similar to Vivid Wire. It's literally like the best Christmas day ever. I don't know why it was such a gift to myself from you.
Yeah.
Obviously I'd invested in you, but it was a gift because I was like, this really represents me, and it felt like everything clicked into place.
It was all the pieces of the puzzle, wasn't it? Because but that's, working with you was one of those things that, you are creative, you've got a strong vision for your business and your brand and where you want to take it. So like for me, that is a gift, because it's like, we can, I could very quickly dial in and go, right, I knew your brand anyway because I have bought into your brand. But that some people kind of go, oh yeah, I work in construction and I like blue. And you're like, oh, God. Okay. I could come up with 1,500 concepts based on that, but it's much easier if you can. That's what I do when I work with people. I get a brief so that we can go, right, or asking all of those questions, and what are the things you like that you don't like, what brands do you align with, in a lifestyle perspective, not just work. I have to extract those thoughts out of your brain that you might not even know that you already have. Offer you different ideas as well, so you don't want someone to just go, here's exactly what you've asked for. I want to offer you something different as well, just to question that a little bit.
And I think that you've got a superpower with this, and I know the survey, like the questionnaire I filled in, you asked for the brands that I like, and I said Eleanor Boma, Cotton Clara, Laura Aston Designs, and there might be a couple more, and I love Eleanor Boma, like absolutely love her, got her tea towels, everything. And
me too.
It was just like we got literally, because there's like colourful leopard print everywhere. Thinking that for the tissue paper, by the way. I still haven't ordered the tissue paper. I was thinking leopard print tissue paper. And then I saw you had a brownie on your stories the other day wrapped in leopard tissue paper. So I was like, oh, maybe that look anyway, but that's by the by. So you said about Eleanor Boma, and then when you first showed me the first logo, I remember me going, oh, it's not like there's not enough on it. And you were like, well, why did you say that? And I said, oh, Eleanor Boma's logo, she's got seashells and God knows what on it. And then we tried to find it. She changed her logo to just the black writing. And you were like, yeah, no, she's gone down a different. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I so removing myself from that idea in my head, though now I have the logo, I don't even know what I was thinking. What would I have had? Like, I wouldn't have had seashells on it. I don't. But then thinking about Eleanor Boma, seashells and that kind of thing doesn't actually fit. That's what she used to have. Doesn't fit anymore. So with what you designed for me, it's just, and you came up with a tagline. You came up with, I was using colourful and bold, but you added brave in there, didn't you? And then that gave me then the inspiration to have the tagline for Vivid Club, which is brave, bold, warrior boss. And then the podcast inspirational, forgotten. I've got it right in front of me, actually. Vivid, bold and inspirational. And then so Vivid Club's Vivid, brave, warrior boss. There's a lot going on. And but it just, you could see in my mind what I couldn't see myself because I had that emotional attachment.
And like I quite often when I'm working with small businesses have to just kind of remind people, pare it back, because you are trying to create a brand that has longevity, that is, not everyone's trying to have like a premium kind of brand, but if you look at a lot of the most successful brands there are in the world, it is super simple. You just don't need over the top illustrative things to create an eye-catching brand. And actually brand means so much more than just your visual aesthetic, so your logo and your colors. You are your brand, and that's an aspect that people really don't fully appreciate. We as like me as a consumer, like I could go and choose in, there's tons of vivid wire making artists out there, but I choose you because I like you, and I like you're a bit mental, and so am I. And I like your stories, and you know, I sit there sort of going, oh, I'm so pleased there's other mental people in the world. And that's your brand. That's what people buy into.
Yeah. I haven't been on stories for a little while. I need to go back. I need to be
Life
on them more. Life is busy, but it's so much fun doing stories. But then you realise you're just talking to yourself, really. But then people will message you back, and you're like, oh, thank God, people are watching. But I mean, it's so funny with the whole weather in the summer. For anyone who's listening who's got a small business with Instagram, sorry, my phone is ringing. For goodness sake, do they not know I'm recording a podcast?
Just did as well, actually.
Oh, goodness me. And now I'm like, who is it? Because I don't know the number. But you know, so now it's put me off. God, I can't edit this bit out now. Oh, yes, engagement with Instagram. There seems to be sort of like this, oh, Instagram is not working for me. And it's because everyone's enjoying the summer. And I've had the engagement on my stories yesterday was so much higher than it's been the last few weeks because everyone was indoors because they were hot.
Yeah.
So I was like, it is literally, if you look ahead, this is a tip, if you look ahead to the weather and you know it's going to be tipping it down with rain or horrible, plan your content to come out on that day and you will get a better reach. All to do with the weather.
It's really interesting. Like I've started this thing called the Hook Project.
Yes, I wanted you to talk about this. So I'm glad you said it. Good.
I'm like so hugely motivated by this. Basically giving small businesses like massive amounts of confidence with how to use Instagram, how to consistently communicate your brand on Instagram, and actually how important that is, which that then translates into more business, more sales. And actually, one of the things we talk about is the whole engagement thing. Like we can, as people, you can get so hung up in, oh, just create a reel, used a trending audio, and I only got 900 people view it. Imagine if 900 people turned up and knocked on your door. You'd be like, oh, I can't help all 900 of you. I could maybe help 4 or 5 this month. But, you know, it's like we need to create content that is valuable, educational, fun, interesting, but
that sells stuff. If you're a business, remember you need to sell stuff.
Like we shouldn't just be trying to like it's vanity metrics. It's
absolutely
that just what does that did that reel that got 10,000 views equate in any business for you? No, people just liked my silly dancing. Okay, cool. What was the point? And did that reel that you made and only got 900 views, but you got 2 sales off, was that better? Yeah, it was. Like, you know, like I think we just have to realign our brains sometimes with social media, and the Hook Project basically is to help people to do all of that.
So you actually, I don't know when your early bird finishes. I've seen you do a post today because this isn't going to be out till the 1st of August.
Yeah,
but they can still book, can't they?
Yeah. So the early bird was until the 27th of July. So anyone who sees this or hears this will have missed it. But there's 15 places basically. It's in Colchester in Essex at First Sight. Really cool place. Really buzzy day, full day workshop, lovely lunch. You get a headshot with it, and 3 experts talking to you and empowering you with loads of knowledge. So 15 spots, and it's £349 for people who have missed out on the early bird.
Oh, that's worth it.
But just such a brilliant day.
Yeah,
such a brilliant day.
Amazing. And so who are the other experts that help you on the day?
So I've got lovely Charlie Alexander. She is a professional photographer. She's actually my mate from my village who lives down the road.
Oh, nice.
And she's just another brilliant human being. Really fun. She's done all of my branding photography. So she talks about how best to take your own DIY photography, where to source stock photography and keeping that consistent, and then also the benefits of professional photography, and Amazing. You get a headshot with it. And then there's Barbara Gill, who's a marketing expert. She's also Colchester based. And she just has tons of knowledge on different ways to get your content out there. We talk about, in her section, we talk about profile optimization. We talk about like planning and scheduling content and making plans. We talk about the regularity of posting and the benefits of it. And we do, the thing that's really cool that we do now is in the afternoon, we do like one-to-one small group sessions. So like you have an expert each in a small group of up to 5 people. Yeah, it's like, it was an absolute game changer.
Oh my goodness, that is really
it's powerful. It really is, because you get to, like, in small doses, ask like one-on-one questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? How can I make that happen? And then we rotate, so each group gets an hour with each expert to go through everything. And like, I just bloody love it. Like, because the reason I thought of doing this is that I create all these lovely brand tools and assets for people, and I send them off and I go, here you go, and then they go, oh, super. And you know, people like you who are more savvy and more capable with technology and everything, you fly, and that's brilliant. And I sit back and you do, and I sit back and I watch you and I go, right, she's absolutely nailed her content. She knows exactly how to use all of the things that I've created for her. And then you find other people aren't as confident and they just go, oh, and it either can become a stumbling block because they go, well, I've got all this beautiful stuff, but I'm not quite sure how to, you know, facilitate that in the way I'm communicating my content. Or they do it and they don't do it that well, and that then sort of does affect how people perceive a brand. If it's a picture with a logo put on with all the color, like, I just sometimes I watch and I'm like, oh gosh, I wish I could interject and just say, have you thought about doing it like this, or could you try that, or jump on here and edit it like this? But that's, you know, that's not my job to do unless people are asking me to do it. So it was,
I've just thought of something of how you can make money. I won't say it on here, but I've just thought of a business idea for you.
Okay, let's have a chat after.
Yeah, well, you know, I can't help myself.
You're like, but yeah, so that's kind of where it was born. Just giving as many people as possible the opportunity to understand how to create stuff for themselves, because you find people sit there and kind of look at other people's content and go, oh, that looks so good, how do I make my stuff look that good? And that's what we're trying to do, to help people.
I love that. I really do. I said to you, shall I come along to the next one? But
You're no,
it's not that too good. I think I've got too much on my plate. But we're gonna see each other at a garage brunch or something. We still need to organise that.
Like, I can't express strongly enough how much I would love to do that.
Can we put that in? We'll put that in as well.
However, I think we should potentially leave ourselves off of social media, because I think it might get out of hand.
Absolutely, always professional. Though I'm thinking, if there was like a Beyonce garage brunch, that would be really cool as well, wouldn't it?
I'm keen for it. Anything R&B, R&B, UK garage, 90s hip hopness. There.
A Kistery garage, a Kistery brunch. All right, I'm gonna look. We'll book it. And anyway, by the by, it's just this is what our messages are like in Instagram, and also we like dancing.
Yes, let's leave it at that.
So back to picking you up, what is the vision? Is this going to be, obviously you said at the beginning you're putting yourself as a brand identity specialist, it sounds like that's where your superpowers are, but what's the vision for the business using all of these multiple talents that you've got?
So I'm going to big you up a tiny bit here. The one thing that has been really, really fun for me this year is that I have got a student placement working with me. And the reason I've got that is because when we had our chats over branding, I told you about this idea and you were like, Lucy, get on the phone to the college and just go and bloody do it. And
1% factor.
Yeah. after that phone call, you and me, I did get on the phone, and then it all started happening. So thank you for that.
That is the best example, I think, of the 1% factor. And I bang on about this inside the Vivid Club all the time, but I literally just said, apply the 1% factor. I think I said, open Google and Google the university or the college or whatever it was and get a phone number. And that's sometimes that's all you need to do.
Yeah. And actually, one of my clients who I'd done a branding project for, Hannah Buck, she had a contact within the college which she kindly put me in touch with, so that was a big help. So I have over here, I turf my husband out twice a week, and I have my lovely student Millie to come and work with me, and that has been like a big step for me with my business. I've never, it's not full employment, but it's a step towards it.
Don't play it down. You've just played it down in one sentence. You're like picking yourself up and went, it's not real employment, but it is. You pay her and she turns up to work.
Yeah. So
own it, boss, warrior boss.
I'm trying to think to myself that in the next couple of years, I would love to be able to go, right, I'm going to give you a job, like a full-time proper job. You're going to come and work for me. And, it's been a great process that I've been able to kind of go, right, I'm getting on with this currently. Brief Millie on what I want her to do. She will start the thinking process. She'll go through sketches, do some research, and start the initial drawing stage for a project. And we'll like work together and collaborate. And I'll say, right, have you thought about looking at like this? Right, I like that part of that. Now work on this part. And it's kind of like I do have a kind of teachery kind of vibe within me. And it's been fun to let go a little bit and kind of go, right, I'm going to entrust you to do that. And she's been doing literally a brilliant job. So I'm really excited about that. She'll come back in September, all being well. And then, after another year, I might say, and she's about to finish, I might say, right, I'd like you to come and work for me, which is really fun, like a really cool thing to think that I might be
you will
able
be.
And that actually looking forward again, right, well, I will have my own studio and I'll have a few Millies, and I'll be able to go, right, I'm going out for the day, and you carry on working, and be like, oh.
So where's the studio going to be when you have it?
So we're converting our garage starting in September, and then that will be for the short term where we'll be. But in the longer term, I don't think I'll be able to have multiple people working for me from home. So I will have to look at premises.
Is there anywhere that you already think, that would be a cool place to work?
Yeah, there is. There's a place called the Old Joinery Studio, which is only about less than a 10-minute drive, and it's got such a cool vibe to it. They've already got similar kind of businesses. It's where I go with the lovely Claudine from Fix Training to do TRX, and it's just got like a really, really cool little vibe to it that I could definitely see myself having a studio there.
There you go. You've said it now. You've said it. You said it out loud, which means it's going to happen. I can't wait till you've done it and you'll be like, remember that day? I'm just going to say it was the 20th of July at 11:41 that you said you're going to have premises in the Old Joinery, did you say?
The Old Joinery Studio.
And 11:41 is the time that Jackson was born. So I actually think it's going to happen.
Oh my God.
That's my magic time. It's a magic time. There's sufficient for you, babe.
Love it.
So my best friend works with me now, and she had a baby, and I said to her, as soon as you're ready, you can come and work for me more, like she's doing one day. And then yes, the other day she was like, I'm ready to do another day, like mid-September, I'm ready to do a day. And the feeling of like fear, fear, paying away wages, I've got to make sure that I'm not just sustaining my family, I'm helping to sustain hers now.
Yeah.
Plus she's, you know, my best friend. But just look, you know, the amount of stuff she does for me is incredible. You know, she is like, her role is executive assistant, and she just pulls out so much which is in my brain, and is able to help me be more effective, and therefore I'm able to have more money anyway because I'm earning it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I have such strong feelings towards delegation. Like I try and say this to people, like when I talk to people about, you know, right, okay, so we might have gone through a logo and branding process, and then it's like, I can, for you, if you want, I can do all your stationery, I can do all your email signature, I can create posts for you, I can do all of this stuff, I can create flyers, posters, whatever you want. Yes, you could do it yourself. It will take you much longer than it would take me. It won't look as good as what I can create for you. And actually, if you pay me to do it more efficiently, you can then go out and concentrate on the things that you're best at, whatever that's you're trying to sell or create, or, you know, find new leads and whatever. And it's I think you get to that stage as a business owner, don't you, that you stop looking at it and going, oh well, I could do that, and sort of try and squirrel everything away to being under your control. And it's like, well, actually, give the admin away, give the, you know, content creation away, give all the stuff that is not your strongest suit away. Yes, that will cost you money, but you can make way more money by concentrating on your thing that you are an expert at.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like letting go of it is because when you feel so passionate about your business, it is like a child, and you're growing it and you're nurturing it. But at some point, your child needs to go to school and do other things, and other people need to be. You can't be everything that your child needs for its whole life, and it's exactly the same for the business. There is no way. Now I've got all three of them. There is no way I can be everything to all three of the little businesses. There's not little businesses, but podcast, the club, and Vivid Wire. I can't do everything. I cannot be everything it needs to grow into what it can become, and it's recognizing that. And to be honest, we had a conversation on Monday, and I was like, we need to think about hiring more people, because it's, even if she takes on, she needs to work 5-6 days a week the same as me to cope with how much work there is, and that's just not sustainable. It's silly how many hours I'm working,
and that's not, you know, we all have this vision. You'd be like, oh, it's okay if I work for myself, I'm the boss, and I make the, you know, I say what time I'm working, and I found myself, particularly because of how busy I was during COVID, I became a slave to my computer and to everyone that I was trying to facilitate. And actually, if you get to that point, you can become a bit sort of
forget how to live.
Yeah, like you need balance. And actually, me going, no, I'm not starting work till 10 o'clock now, and I'm going to go for a walk or do a workout or just eat my breakfast in peace. That allows me to then come and sit at my desk at 10 o'clock with a better frame of mind than being like, right, I've got the kids at school, 9:15, right, okay, I'm ready to go. Ugh. And it's like, it's horrible. I'm no good to anybody. Like if I feel stressed, and, you know, I want to do a good job for people, and actually to do that, I need to give myself a bit of time as well.
And there's a transition between your roles though as well, which is something I've been working on. So before the boy, like Dan and Jackson, come home, I try and have at least 5 minutes, if not more, where I'm just sitting, sometimes just with my eyes closed, or sitting having a cup of tea or something, so I can transition into wife and mum. Because otherwise, because the same as you, I work from home now. Obviously, I don't know, you probably do the school run, but while Jackson's still with the childminder, Dan picks him up on his way home. As soon as I enter the house and they're back, that's it. Like I'm mum and wife. Even if all of my clogs are still churning as a business owner, who the hell, where's Claire? I've no idea. That's why I do that. Like I get up in the morning, I've started walking first thing in the morning, which has been really lush. So I'm like Claire first thing in the morning, then I transition into mum and wife, then I have a little short and I like walk Jackson to the childminder, because then I get more time to transition back into business owner.
Yeah.
But we forget that moving in and out of these roles takes a lot of energy. And if you're not prepared for that energy and thinking about, okay, what am I going to do when they come home? What is the next step? And if you haven't got time to think about that, then you're always on the back foot. You're always like, it takes so much energy. Then you haven't got the capacity to be the role that you want to fulfill. And then you feel guilty because you're not filling the role that you want to fulfill. And just never ending cycle, isn't it?
It's well hard to
well hard
to actually do that properly, and we kind of have to give ourselves a little bit of a break, because you can't be expected to know how to do all of that brilliantly from the outset. You're going to muck up, you're going to, roles are going to merge and be muddy, and you figure it out, and you start to put in boundaries as you become more confident as a business owner and realize no one's actually watching. like you sort of, I put a story out the other day talking about starting work at 10, and so many people are saying it's like game changer working at starting at 10, and really no one knows any different. Like, you don't know. I'm working on your logo. You don't know if I start at 9 or 10 or 12. Like, and do you care? So long as I get the work done, you don't.
No.
So there's definitely the pros and cons to working for yourself, and it's just the juggle of figuring it all out along the way.
Yeah, which is a good time for me to say, and I don't know, I'm doing a pop-up Facebook group for Warrior Boss mums, and giving daily little like couple of minutes of video, or do this if you've done nothing in your business today and you're worrying, just do this. I'm starting that on the 1st of August, which is today, because, and as well as in the Vivi Club membership, we've got some mums, they've just been panicking about the summer holidays, and I've been panicking about the summer holidays since definitely May, and I would argue probably the beginning of May. As soon as we come out of Easter, I'm like, summer holidays is coming. How am I going to manage it? Last year was such a challenge, so I started planning like little things that I can do every single day that will keep things going. And then I was like, I can share this, so that's what we're doing.
Exciting.
I think it'd be good. I like, everybody's in the same boat where they're like, you just have that mum guilt that you're not spending the time with them, but you've still got to run your business. You've still got to run your business for 6 weeks, haven't you?
And that's something that people just like genuinely don't truly appreciate. I think that's the whole, like what we talked about earlier about the playing. Like, I think sometimes there's a perception that is this actually really your job? Yes, it is. And it takes up all day, 5 days a week. And I do need childcare.
So many people said that to me when I left education. I thought you were looking after Jackson at home. How am I can't, actually, it was my mum that said it to me. I said, Mum, how am I going to be able to earn? I've got to match my wage. We've got bills to pay. Like, there was no like, it'll be all right, Dan's got me covered. I was a breadwinner at that point. I was a breadwinner. He's got a new job and promotions now, but it's like, well, I've got no choice. I have to make this work, otherwise we can't pay the mortgage. It's like that. And so there's no way I could have done that with Jackson. And at the time, he was coming up for 2. No way I could have been working at home with a 2-year-old. Not, now he does. I had a conversation with him the other day, like, I've booked really clear days where it's days with Jackson, and then I've got 2 days a week with childcare, and then just filling in other times. And I just said, that you're going to have to help mummy in the office. He went, oh yeah, I know what to do, mummy. I'm going to do that for you and that for you. And it all involves sticking washi tape everywhere. It's nothing to do with work, but he thinks it's work. But then I can get on. So, but the juggles. But then it's the joy of going, they've got a Christmas play, can go and see it. Take them to school. I could have never taken Jackson to school in my old life.
No,
I was in a school.
it's lovely.
Yeah, it is. So I ask everybody when they come on,
Mm-hmm.
the same question at the end, because
Ooh,
yeah, I love this question.
go on.
What advice or tip would you give yourself 10 years ago that you know now that you didn't know then?
Kind of to have the courage in your convictions to just bloody go for it and know how good you are. I think like this is one of the things we talk about in the Hook Project is I think sometimes we as human beings you have this natural sense of like downplaying you being good at something, but when it comes to trying to grow a business, you have to shout about why you are good. I'm good because of XYZ, and be proud to shout about it. And that's actually how people buy into you. If you were going for a job interview, you put on your CV, I'm great at this, that, and the other. It's the same thing for us as small business people. You have to shout about yourself. So I think, that's almost the reason you were questioning me earlier. Be like, well, of course you were going to be, successful and do it because you're good. But yeah, we just naturally want to just cower a little bit and think, oh, people think I'm showing off.
Yeah, because it makes other people feel better, doesn't
if
it?
you're mediocre.
Because if you're mediocre, yeah, and you hide it, it makes other people feel safe, because then they're not having to try because everyone else is. But time to show off. I totally agree with you. Yeah, definitely. Oh, this has been wonderful.
Thank you for having me, my lovely.
Thank you for coming on, and thank you so much. I cannot recommend you enough. Where can everyone find you, by the way, before I start bringing you up again?
So website lucieselby.com, Lucie with an IE. Instagram is Lucie Selby _design. So amazing. Yeah, I'm there and very happy to. I love just making connections with people. The whole point is it's social, isn't it? And I do buy into that, and that's why I've made friendships with like you and other people, because I just think you're really cool, and it's and then that builds friendships and networks. And I think if you're just genuinely authentic and a nice person, that helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's being ourselves. And when's the Hook Project again?
13th of October in Colchester. Yeah, so if anyone's got any questions, feel free to just send me a DM and I would love to help you.
Good old Essex, that is technically at war with Kent from years and hundreds of years ago. Everyone
mental.
Yeah, but no, I cannot recommend you enough. You have done wonderful work for me. So all three of the businesses have got your logo. The podcast is my favorite, though the other two are so close behind. You've done such an amazing job. Thank you so much. And there, if you're watching on the video, there's my boss sign for you.
I have
to say, that ages ago.
You did, and I worked out. Actually, I've got Old Bonjour in my hallway. I've got Nice Bum in the bathroom.
I forgot about the Nice Bum one.
I've got Boss in my office, and I've got a Christmas star as well. So I'm.
And I've got your COVID print and your notebook that I still haven't written in. Your notebook is that up? Should I just run and get it? If you're on the video, then you can see it. Hold on. I think that's it. Yes.
Oh no!
I've got this.
The dream is free.
And I haven't got my headphones in.
Separately.
This is for those of you listening on the podcast. This is good, isn't it? But yeah, this cute. I love this because it says the dream is free, but the hustle is sold separately. And you don't have any of these, do you anymore? No. But everyone's got like a quote on it, and that's why I can't use it, because I just love it so much. I can't use it, as with any nice notebook. But no, thank you so much, my love. And yeah, go and follow Lucie, and let us know what you thought of the podcast. It's a bit weird the fact that this is the first video one, but it's exciting as well.
Oh, it was a fun, like, I love how when we first came on, you were like, this definitely won't be an hour. And I'm like, it's pretty close to an hour.
Pretty close.
Just
pretty
chatting.
close. All right. Thanks so much, lovely.
Thanks, Gold. See you
Bye.
soon. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the No Rest for the Vivid podcast. Written, produced and hosted by Claire Hill, and music has been composed by my brother, Phil Vick.